everyone, and welcome to your Daily Woo. So this weekend, we have the moon in Capricorn. Now the moon is going to be conjuncting Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto, these planets in Capricorn that I've been talking about. The moon is our feelings, how we process our emotions, how we nurture ourselves, how we express how we feel when we feel it, or maybe how we express how we feel when it's been suppressed. So the moon is very important in our charts, and if you need help finding out where your moon is, email me at info@thegoodwoo.org. Now, this moon and all these planets, we already know the planets are squaring Mars right now, but our beautiful planet Venus is in the sign of Cancer, which also is going to be in opposition this week to Pluto, Saturn, and Capricorn. So what we love, pleasure, money, our relationships, there's a cold, steely eye we're going to be taking. And another element of Capricorn, because it's also a very magical sign, it's the deep, it's the elder, it's the shamanic crone, it's the wise man, the wise woman, it's like the Merlin, the wizard, the sorceress. But it's also this relationship that we have to what came before us, our elders, our ancestors, right? And the lineages that we've carried on. It can also be, the spiritual lineage you've carried on through past lives. So this weekend, when you run up against obstacles and, Saturn, there's, like I said, fear, pessimism, sadness, that all that suppressed anger is going to be getting dislodged with this Mars and going to be maybe agitated. And I want you to get out and garden. Right now, with Capricorn so heavily focused in the sky, it's like the medicine, the old school medicine man and medicine woman of the indigenous tribe who knew how to communicate with the spirit of each individual species of plant. So we can call upon that energy for elevation and relief. So get out in your gardens if you have them. If you don't, get out in a park. Do some research about foraging and herbs and flower essences and essential oils. Cypress essential oil is so powerful to help us release trapped grief. And if you've lost a loved one, or there's a big situation of loss in your life, or regret, disappointment, cypress is incredible for helping you move that through your body. Now, peppermint oil, I've talked about before with all this Mars energy, with the Mars and Aries for 6 months tips video. But peppermint is also great with this really dense, heavy energy, because it can kind of feel like an elephant is sitting on you, And there can be a lot of tiredness and lethargy and just aches and just a heaviness in the joints and the body, remember, because Capricorn rules the bones, the skeleton. The peppermint oil is going to be very uplifting and invigorating, literally like what I'm doing with my eyes. It's that shot of espresso, but it's not going to let you crash. So peppermint oil. Next, sweet orange oil. And I always say that citrus is ruled by the sun, right? If you think about the citrus plant of fruits, they're all like yellow and orange, and they are absorbing that sun and then reflecting it right back in their physical form. The essential oil of sweet orange and even lemon is a great antidote and remedy to this Saturn energy, because literally the energy of Saturn is like the opposite to the energy of our solar star, the sun. So sweet orange and lemon are also going to be really helpful as we're moving through this time. And this weekend, this energy of the Mars-Saturn square, it's going to feel really intense this weekend because the moon is involved, which means our emotions are going to be even more involved. So this idea of ancestors and elders, and what does that mean to you? And I would suggest this weekend you find some time to connect to that. In a lot of Eastern cultures, there is a place in the home where ancestors are daily venerated. So what can we do to call in that energy to help us? Now, whenever I'm calling on ancestors and elders, I always ask that those in the highest vibration of love and light to come forward, because it's important to protect the energy that you're calling in when you're calling it in, that it's that which is in service to the all. So be specific when you're calling this in. But if you're not into that kind of woo-woo, then I just want to simply invite you to make an offering in some way to your elders and ancestors. Now, this could also be an offering to, your past self. There is a lot of energy that comes up with all of this Saturn and Pluto excavating, all this old crap in ourselves and in the collective, that ruminating about the past unproductively it's so easy to get drawn into it. It's like the neural pathway that has the deepest grooves. I mean, it's just so easy. When we acknowledge who we were in the past and the mistakes we made, with that Capricorn energy of almost a sense of detachment, and maybe it's almost like emotionless sometimes. We look at those past mistakes, we look at those decisions, we look at the disappointments, and we can see with that clear eye, that wise woman eye, that medicine man eye, we see, okay, what did I learn from that mistake? That's a jewel in my crown. What did that disappointment teach me? Aha, another jewel in my crown. So if you're not into making an offering to your ancestors and elders, then make that offering to your past self, your younger self, who really went through some hard times to give you the wisdom that you have now and the knowing that you have now. If making an offering to ancestors and elders, just a couple ways that we can do that. And if you're not into that, you can just make an offering to the trees like I'm going to describe, is to put some tobacco or corn or flowers or even like pennies, extra change at the base of trees, because this sort of signals to all of what came before, right? I live in California. There are some trees around me that are older than me, and that does make me think of the trees in Northern California that have just burned. There is so much wisdom in the plant kingdom for us if we're humble enough to listen. So trees and the ancient forests and this idea of tree wisdom, plant wisdom, is also very Capricorn energy. So I want you guys to lean into that. When it gets tough and you feel the blockages, or you're feeling depressed and sad and grief-stricken, go deeper into it to find the magic underneath all of it, because it's there. It really is. And that is going to allow us to see this process that could be difficult. It's going to allow us to see it with a sense of wonder, a sense of expectancy, a sense of curiosity. And yes, it's deep. This process we're in right now, it's deep, it's subterranean. We can consider it even dark, or not being bad, just not effervescent, But this process, if we're diligent in being with it, right? And just sitting in the storm and letting the rain pelt your skin and letting the floods come and go, and like sitting with the ocean, letting the crashing waves come and letting them recede, you are going to have such an intimate knowing of yourself, who you are, what you want, what your own emotional wave is, because we all have biorhythms, that on the other side of this, in January, February, and March, there is going to be that sense of effervescence, that sense of excitement and joie de vivre. It not only returns, it returns like on a whole level that is elevated. It's like the next evolution of how you're going to be able to view yourself and your life. And it will be easier to find gratitude as we move through this phase. So the idea that we have access to what came before. And the next exercise I'm going to give you guys for this weekend is to think about, as we think about this particular life and all the tools we've gained from what we've gone through and survived, you can also think about, if you believe in reincarnation, that your soul's journey, you've also gained so many tools from the lives that you've lived. And a simple prayer that you can do this weekend is to ask whatever it is that you pray to and commune with spiritually, that you have access in this lifetime, in this present moment, to all the knowledge you've gained in any past life, if they exist, all the tools you acquired, all the magic that you learned, that you be granted access to it now in this lifetime. Taking what's good from the past and solidifying it into your present moment is the highest vibrational form of what we have going on in cosmic weather right now. So these last two daily woos were lengthy because I really want you guys to, when you get, when you're pressed up against the wall, I want you to have access to all these different options of how you can leap the wall. It's just not going to look like a door that opens so you can walk through it. You're going to have to find these other ways up and over. So thank you so much. If you need help doing this, email me, info@thegoodwoo.org. There's a link above, if you're watching this on Instagram, in the bio, where you can access Patreon, you can access the YouTube channel, you can access how to buy essential oils. It's all in there in the Linktree link. Also, if you're interested in sessions and you're not really sure about them, you can head to thegoodwoo.org. There are testimonials, there's a video explaining what sessions are like, and you can also just email me at info@thegoodwoo.org. Thanks, everyone.